we go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. And let me just double check my my messages here. 1 second. Okay, yeah, we got a few in via email. Let's see. Oh, some good ones here tonight. Cool. There. Let me just paste these and we'll get started. And let's see, we got this here. And Shirley's got a few. Let's grab a couple of these. I'll take a look at that. Alright, cool. One sec. Alright, cool. There we go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. Alright, well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. So it was Fed day today. So quite a day there today. Mostly just kind of choppy at the open. Then things just started to kind of curl their way down. And then the Fed started. And then it was just like even more downside. Then they bought the dip. And then they kind of reversed a little bit. So at least we got a little action today, right? We haven't seen that in a while. So we'll talk about that. And then this week, guys, we're working on our series here on the Elliott Wave Channels and more. And hopefully you guys are finding that helpful. We're going to expand on our topic from yesterday, talking about the linear regression channels and how they can help us find good wave counts, right? Or, potential wave counts. So everything we're going to talk about, though, guys, is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off with the market today, and then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening, and then we're going to take a look at the topic, and then we'll go through questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right, guys, so SPX ended up down 22 points today. The monthly chart is still green, but it's kind of just hanging in here with this double doji type pattern, so we got to be a little bit careful here. Weekly chart is turning into a... Let's make it look dramatic. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, let's make it look even more dramatic. Dun, dun, dun. A bearish engulfing candle, right? So the real body is engulfing the prior real body, and the entire candle's over the prior candle. So we'll see how this ends up closing. We still have 2 days left in the week. So McClellan oscillator is still over 100, so not really worried that we're in crash mode yet. But we talked about this, right? If we have a red month, that's oftentimes the start of any sort of big down move, right? Here's your red candle right here, and that's what started the Corona crash, right? So we'll see how that goes here for the rest of June. In terms of daily chart, well, we closed on the ADMA, and actually, if you look at the SPY on this one, we did have increasing volume on it too. The only thing that concerns me is the lower shadow right here. But if we did break below these levels, I would start to think that maybe the 50-day moving average may be in store. So pretty interesting stuff there. We did fill an open gap down below today, and ended up bouncing off of that, if you can believe it. So some pretty cool stuff there. And we really just got to see what's in store for tomorrow. Here's the Elliott Wave count that we've been tracking. So you guys have been hearing me talk about it here and on the other videos here on YouTube. That this was looking like an ending diagonal, right? So, or a rising wedge pattern as we were finishing up this wave. So we just weren't getting the impulsive action to get this thing going, right? It looked like you can count all the 1-2s you want, right? You got this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? And at this point here, it's just like, okay, well, what's it gonna do? Is it gonna actually break out, or are we pulling back, right? So here I've got kind of a potential ABC pullback right here. So we'll see what type of price action we get. Like I said, the gap was filled right here. At this point now, from this little pivot low to the highs, we're at about the 618 retrace where we got our first bounce. So let's see if that holds. If it does, cool. If not, right, look for a potential pullback a little bit deeper, and then we'll see where we go from there. Don't forget, guys, we got an open gap down here too. We got a couple other ones below. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening. So futures, a little bit of follow through on the daily move, right? So pretty cool stuff, right? So today we basically just went into the day chopping, and we were kind of expecting that, right? We talked about it last night. We were discussing the potential for a choppy evening, and we got that, right? We ended up just kind of going back and forth, ended up turning into a triangle. They tried to pop it a little bit here pre-market to try to get above this and try to get going. They just couldn't do it. Back in the triangle, right? And then the open market came in, and we just eventually lost the triangle right there. Got to the next support zone and a couple of our key levels right here, right at the 614 VPOC. Held that for a little bit, and then the Fed came around and just see ya, right? So the range of this candle here, just after the Fed rate announcement came, was 33 points, which is really pretty amazing, right? I mean, Normally the Fed hasn't been moving markets that much, but I believe the reason that we got such a big move today was not, I mean, I told you I expected rates to be unchanged, right? And I expected it to be the same old stuff. And it exactly was those rates unchanged. You kept on saying the same old thing, right? But the thing is that we just had this huge compression here on the daily charts. We haven't had any action since Memorial Day, right? So I mean that just builds up energy, right? So the algos get hungry, right? So I mean these are the 3 days before Memorial Day, and we've just been chop 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 chip 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 chop chop chop. We needed a little bit of pressure relief there, and that's what we got here today. So I mean there's really no reason for it to be down on the Fed today. I mean I'm sure you'll hear all sorts of counter opinions from economists and analysts and all that stuff tomorrow, but I mean it really is this contraction to expansion. So it was interesting, right? We haven't seen a move like this since Powell's been since Fed chair since a couple years ago, since when he first started, right? So it's usually been pretty muted, right? So so we'll see how that goes going into the going into tomorrow. A lot of times if we get a red day after a Fed day, we get follow through. If we get a green day after a Fed day, we get follow through to the upside. So we'll see. So right now, like we said, the futures are about red right here, about down 13 points right here. It doesn't mean they can't rally it up, but it just looks a little bit weak. They might want to come back and test like these levels again here. So tough to get a geometric line on this right now. I mean, we could kind of put a steep angle on this, but any little move could get above that, right? So let's just kind of keep an eye on it. What I would do here is just at least, kind of keep an eye on this, like the shorter term one. Let's see if we can get above that, one little piece at a time, right? Kind of like that. See if we can get above it. Otherwise, right, look for a test at these levels below here tonight. So, and we'll see where we open tomorrow. So tomorrow is Thursday, so probably a pretty boring day expected tomorrow. We did actually have a little bit more action today than I was expecting. I was really just expecting the Fed today. There wasn't too much more on the calendar. But around this time, things started to break down here around noon, just before noon. Yellen was talking this morning, so she was talking about taxes and hacking or something, and that started to get things a little bit weird. But apparently Biden went to Switzerland and met up with Putin. And they had a little conversation here today, and it was like the market was a little bit touchy around that conversation, right? So that's been a risk that's out there now, right? So this the whole U.S.-Russia relationship thing right now. So it's definitely something that's out there. So we'll see how it goes. It looks like it generally was positive, and so today was all about the Fed. So cool. So good stuff. So let's get to the topic here. And this week we've been talking about Elliott Wave Channels and more. So this week we introduced the linear regression channel as a way to draw channels, and today we're going to talk about how we can use it to help us find Elliott wave counts. And we started out this week talking about regular channels and how a lot of times impulsive waves and corrective waves can be contained by channels, and they can give us help us find good setups. So yesterday we talked about the linear regression channel. So let's take a look at that. Let's actually just do it here on the futures while we've got it. Let me see if I can pull up a clear copy here, and we'll see if we can do it on the 5-minute chart a little bit, and then kind of see where we go from there. So what we did yesterday is we went to the channels, right? So the linear regression channel is just on the regular channel tool here in Thinkorswim, and what we do is we look for to draw these. I showed you yesterday that what we do is we can kind of move this, but see how they kind of shift around all the time, like this. It follows the average, right? It follows the average of the prices, right? So the mean regression right there in the middle, right? So it always looks amazing after the fact. You're like, oh wow, look at that! If I just traded this, it could be here, 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 and here. Just play the bounces. Yeah, it'd be nice if it worked that way, but unfortunately, no. But we can kind of you do that. Okay, and so let me just show you how to do that here. So let's take a look. So what we want to do is we want to look for a recent turning point high or a turning point low, and then we want to look to try to see if we can get a linear channel through there, where the channel there's two standard deviations that come out of that off of the mean. And so what we want to do is see if we can match, typically the first standard deviation, and usually what we want to do is try to match that up with another turning point, right? So I'm going to try to do it on this one right here. We'll see if it makes sense. If not, I'll try to do it down here and go from there. So, and then if not, I'll show you how it looks on some other charts right here. So what I did is I clicked right here at the start of this this turning point right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it out until I can get this to align. So I can get this first standard deviation to align with another pivot right here. Okay, so that just about there. Okay, do you see that? So now, right, you can see, although it's not a typical channel that we would normally draw, right, we're kind of off of our levels the way we talked about it the other day. What it does do is give us some interesting areas, right? So we can see here, this was a level, right, and this is a level. So this would give us, we would look for at this point now, anything after here that starts to get interesting, and then we could put some Elliott wave counts on it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw that out there, and I'll just kind of make this light gray. so you guys can see it, so you guys can see the chart here. Make that light gray, and then all I'm going to do is what we talked about yesterday. Is I'm going to take this linear regression channel and I'm going to stretch it out. Okay, so I'm going to put the right extension on, and there we go, right? And so now we can use this channel to try to find really good levels, and you can see exactly what happened here today, right? So what we would want to do at this point is that we saw that we had a nice drop, right? Now don't forget, this all started here, right? So at this point we're kind of in the channel. So we would look here. This is maybe a finish. This could be sort of an ABC corrective channel, and then we start to work our way up. So once we get back into the channel, we can start to look for wave counts on that, right? And so we can go to the shorter term time frame, okay? So it gives us cool areas of interest where things are looking good, right? So this is good, right? So this here, what we would do is you can see we're entering back into the channel here, right? And we could trade this to the upside using Elliott Wave, right? So we could use this as the first impulsive wave up, right? We could use this as the wave 1. This is the wave 2, wave 3. And this would be a valid wave 3 because wave 5 is going to be bigger, but as long as wave 3 is not the shortest wave, wave 4 doesn't intersect wave 1, and then boom, wave 5. So once we got in the channel here, we could say that wave 3 is finished. We've retested the channel, and now we can get in here and just kind of drill in and look to trade smaller waves off of this one, right? So we got the one. So any pullback, any of the initial pullback, within a 618 would make sense for a wave 2. We got tight right here, so give you this inside one, then go. So you kind of have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 any diagonal field to it right here. Okay, so that ends up being a pretty good trade, right? So using the linear regression channel to see when to enter, right? So just to review, what did we do? We took the linear regression channel, we started it from a major pivot, okay, and then we drew it out until we could get the first standard deviation to align with another pivot the best we could, and it did it right here. Okay, so once we did that, this thing gets into it becomes an area of interest, right? So we draw that out. Once that's fit, then we stretch it out. But before we stretch it out, we want to make sure we know where we are, right? So we can draw a box around it and all that stuff. We'll know where we are in real time when we're doing it because there won't be anything there. There won't be any price there. And then we can look to use that as to our advantage. So once we got back to the channel, right, we use our Elliott wave, and you can see here we finished this wave up with a nice 5-wave up, okay? And let's take a look here. So now that we're in, right, what else can we do? All right, so we finished the wave 5 up. Well, look where we finished it. We finished it right here at the top of the channel. Well, how about that? That's two standard deviations out of a significant. The reason I call it significant is because the first standard deviation ended up matching with the other pivots, right? So now we can look at this. Okay, we're finding this is resistance right here. So what do we do once things start to change? Well, we look for a corrective wave, right? So here we go. So we have A, B retest, double top, and then C, right? So there's kind of your C wave down, and then we just started to, kind of continue to grind down there at the end of the day. But really cool stuff, right? So nice expanding flat right there. So good. So that's how we do it, right? That's how we use the linear regression channel. We can look at examples. We can take a look at another example right here. I'm gonna try to clean this up a little bit here. And let's go here, and let's take a look at anything. Let's see what was a good mover here recently. What had a good move today? Amazon was pretty interesting. Amazon was interesting. So what we could do is here is we could try to use this to look for a reversal, right? Once we get out of this. Okay. So we go to the regression channel right here. We start at a pivot right here. Okay. We draw it down until we can get the LRC to match with another level. I'd like to try to get it to match here. Oh, there we go. A little bit tight. Okay. See how we match with this level right here, and we can stretch this out. What I'm going to do is so everybody knows where it was. We'll go here, so you don't think I'm just making stuff up. Let's go there. Draw it out. Okay, expand it to the right. This can help us find breakouts, right? If we find breakouts on this, I'm going to turn the right extension on. Breakouts right there, and boom. Okay, so isn't that cool? Look where we ended up bouncing today. Just we got a little undershoot here out of the channel, right? Great dip buy opportunity, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Break out of the channel, momentum move right there, right? So that gave us to finish the wave up right there. 4, wave 4 triangle, bull flag, 5. Right, and then ABC back down. Look at that. Each bounce here was off of the linear regression low. Look at that. And this gave another undershoot right here before we got to the end of the day. And look what it did. We broke out of the channel here, and that finally gave us a nice move up. So pretty cool stuff. So again, guys, play around with this. It's really fun. It's a little bit different than the channels that we were originally talking about, which are kind of contained just by just statically by what we think the impulsive waves are. These literally are just taken from a major pivot, and then we just stretch it out until we get it to align with another pivot, and then can stretch it out and look for wave counts on that. Okay? So cool stuff. All right. Well, hopefully you guys found that helpful. At this point, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can. Try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. All right, Mike, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're doing great. Yeah, so we've got Amazon and PLBY. Let's take a look. So Amazon, we're already looking at right here, guys. Amazing stuff. It's just been doing these doji sandwiches up all week, right? So we got this up, doji sandwich, up, doji sandwich, up, doji sandwich, up. So I don't know, maybe a pause day tomorrow and then up back to all-time highs, or maybe it'll be finally a reversal like Facebook today. Did everybody see the doji reversal today? Wah, wah. Right off of resistance too. So. And of course, all-time high. So we got that going on. But good. We had a question yesterday about why isn't Facebook going up? Well, look. Let's look at the price action. We got some price discovery up here. We got some resistance. Now we got a doji reversal. And look what happened. Blech, right back down. So pretty cool stuff there. And then PLBY. Let's take a look. Yes, PLBY. I mean, very very interesting stuff. Right. We got out of this channel right here, and still trying to grind tried to grind its way up, and we've already kind of invalidated the potential for this being an impulsive wave. Right, so at this point, it looks like we're really just doing this. Here, we're still in a corrective channel. Here, and here. Okay, so really just stretch the channel out. Once we didn't get any follow through on that one, we just assumed that we're in this one, right? So now it kind of looks like an A, B, maybe wave C here to get to the bottom of the channel. So keep an eye on that there. Okay, cool. John Turner, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's say wow. A little bit of wow. So wow again, inside day here below the ADMA. Watch in case it breaks down below the inside day lows for any more downside. iRobot. Getting really tight here. Again, this thing likes to get tight and sometimes move, but it rarely gives us the follow through, right? So we're just still in this range right now. Maybe we're in an accumulation period. So definitely something to keep an eye on there too. GSHD, let's take a look. Yeah, Goosehead with a potential pause day today. After yesterday's strong day. Remember, we talked about the 200-day moving average being potential resistance, so we tagged it there today. So we really need to push over today's highs for it to show that it wants to get going. TRUP with a quick tag of the ADMA and a bounce as it looks like it's continuing to work up this harmonic wing. So good stuff there. Then Nest, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at Cell H. So Cell H starting to crack the flag, right? So a little bit of caution there. PD. Outside day today with another doji at the ADMA, so a little bit of caution there until we can get some clarity. I'd like to see some bigger real bodies on that. Tree just kind of grinding its way up. And you also got Roblox on the radar. Nice. So Roblox, guys, we were looking at this one in the bubble report this morning. We talked about the potential for it breaking down below the pre-market lows, right, which never got to. So they ended up buying the dip on it at the open and then just kind of coming back and retracing. So if we look at the retrace on this, just off of these lows right here, we're kind of hanging out in the golden zone. Right, so also the 60 anchor going into tomorrow. So see if we can get some strength going into tomorrow, right? Maybe try to push its way back up into the gap. So good stuff there. So Otas sent a few in here via Twitter. So let's take a look at these. Apple, outside day today. This is actually pretty significant for it, right? So we talked about yesterday being kind of this blah, just pause off of that big breakout candle right here that finally cleared that major geometric level. You can see it a little bit better here. I drew that gap level. Resistance, kapowie, right? But then nothing. Then we got nothing after. Just ran out of steam. But today gave us a complete reversal off of it, right? Now, it wasn't a super green day, but it's still strong, right? Big lower shadow off of that and a big move. It was also an action name that we put out there last night, too. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. So good stuff there. And Facebook, let's take a look. Basically, we're going to take the doji down right there. Again, I would just watch, see if we break down below today's lows, if there's any relative weakness on that. Pins is kind of grinding its way up here, too. Just got a bit of a spinning top here as it's trying to establish any sort of momentum. And AMC still within the triangle right here. So we still have an open gap below right here. So if we take out today's lows, that open gap looks like we've got maybe a good chance of getting there, right? So let's just see how that goes. We're right off of the ADMA here today on AMC. So good stuff there. Shirley sent a few in via email, so let's take a look at these. So we've got Triple M. So Triple M, nasty breakdown on this one. Don't forget, Triple M's the heartbreaker, so a little bit of caution off of that one there, but working its way down. Home Depot, not enough volume to get me too excited about it, but definitely working its way down with the lumber futures, which we talked about here in the past. Stitch Fix with a nasty day there after going ex-dividend. So, I'm sorry, Best Buy after going ex-dividend, and Stitch Fix is working its way down here a little bit. And then WWE, oh yeah, working its way down under the ADMA, but not a lot of volume to get me really excited about it. But good stuff there. 2020 says it all. What's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at BlackBerry. Increased volume here below the ADMA, so definitely a little bit of caution on this one. GMBL upper shadow off the ADMA, but holding on to the 50-day, so we've got that going on. CMMB. Inside day here, so see which way that one decides to move. And CGC, again, the pot sector got beat up yesterday, or the last couple days, and now we've got a little bit of a spinning top right here, so let's see how that holds. Ollie, got a meme stock for today. Let's take a look at Wish. Make a wish when you wish upon a doji. We'll see if we can get over the 50-day moving average, maybe work its way up to the cloud there. Anthony, what's going on? Good to see you. Sava. Let's take a look at Sava. Hey, strong day today. Strong day today. Can it get to 87.95? If it pushes through today's highs, we get some volume on it. It's possible that we could get up to those levels. Let's see. And then LRC chart voodoo. I know, exactly. I know, it's pretty wild stuff. So then asking, can you tell me what is meant by the Fed's balance sheet stops expanding? Is it stop buying bonds? I'm really not sure. I mean, I guess it means that it stops expanding. I guess they're not looking to take in new purchases. Meaning, like, like expanding it, like the first they were buying like mortgage tranches, and then mortgage-backed securities, and then corporate bonds. So that's like expanding it into like different sectors, right? So maybe they're not planning on doing that anytime soon, but they probably will. So because that's what they do. And how does it affect equities? I mean, bullish. That's their job, right? So we'll see how that goes. So Raul, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Doing well, thank you. Thanks for making it. Thierry, what's going on? Neo, let's take a look. So Neo, holding on to the ADMA after this pullback. Let's see if we can get a bounce off of that. ARVL, nice bounce today with some increased volume here. Nice push, but then ended up turning red. Kind of looks like it ran out of steam. It's like a balloon that's just kind of running out of air. So we got that going on there. So less buying, less assets. Yeah, then it's probably just, I think it's probably just like sector stuff. But yeah. I mean, eventually the big concern is that they're going to stop buying corporate bonds, right? And so what that means, guys, is that, right, so that, see, like companies like Apple and stuff like that can release bonds that the Fed will just buy at like almost zero interest. So it's basically free money for companies, right? And eventually they'll pay it back, right? That's the idea. And so, but in the meantime, like a lot of companies have been taking advantage of this. So and that's been helping equities, right? And so the big thing that they're concerned about is the whole tapering, right? So if they start cutting back on bond purchases, it's like, oh no, but we need you guys to hold up the market. And, so then they think there'll be like a big crash or something like that if that happens. But we'll see. Never gonna give you up. Right, so anyway, so this is related to coach. I like that. And then iSurge, just take a look. iSurge with a spinning top day to outside day. So outside day, so this one really looks like it could go either way. It did sort of break out this geometric line right here, so it might just kind of be working on this kind of 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 triangle, and then see if it pops out of that range. It's a tough name to trade. I'd be really careful with that one. But good stuff. All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in this evening. Great questions tonight and awesome chart requests. And so, oh yeah, Raul, we got to look at Tesla. So Tesla, guys, still leaning bearish on this one. We were up about 5 points today, but basically just came back to retest yesterday's range. It basically just tested the channel low, right, or the bear flag. It kind of bounced off of it. Not a lot of movement, right? So we got a little bit of volume on it right here. Let's see how it goes tomorrow. If we start to push our way up, great. If not, we start to break down below this channel right here, we may see some aggressive selling. So we'll see how that goes too. But good stuff. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. We'll see you guys here bright and early tomorrow morning for the bubble report and the, here for the Good Morning Market Prep video. And looking forward to that. And hope to see you guys there and in the Twitter. And until then, stay healthy out there. And remember your risk